Football West is delighted to present Game 2 of today's triple header as part of the Regional Festival of Football. Our upcoming match is between Perth Glory FC and Sorrento FC in the NPL WA. At 5 PM, we will have the NPL WA women's game between the Hyundai NTC and Fremantle City. Football West would like to thank the Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industries for their backing of the Regional Festival of Football. We would also like to acknowledge Geraldton NRA Lara Dalton for their support, the City of Greater Geraldton, and their Shane Ben-Stein. Glory FC, Cameron Cook, Joe Ford, Baker Fuel, Asian Tataku, Nick Sullivan, Kieran Bramwell, Chris DeHell, Charlie Leach, Giordano Collie, Adam Zimmerano, and Aidan Collins. Starting right up for Sorrento FC, Brian McLaughlin, Neil Gillies, Jordan Brown, Tim Hill, Alex Morgan, Ollie Addis, Jordan Mockler, Connor Campbell, Jordan Roberts, and Scott Whiskey, and Sean Kilkenny. Welcome Perth Glory FC and Sorrento FC for today's NPL WA match.
Hi everyone, welcome to One Feller Oval here in regional Western Australia. The focus is on the race for the top four this afternoon as 5th place Perth Glory face Sorrento FC here in Geraldton. It's an absolute pleasure to be here in the Midwest to bring you this one for the Football West YouTube channel and Facebook pages this afternoon. It's one of two NPL WA matches this afternoon from this venue that we're bringing to you live on the channels with a women's NPL clash between Fremantle and the NTC to follow at 5 PM.
Indigenous Soccer Cup.
Thanks everyone. I'm also known as Lenny in the local community, not Linnell. So Nurabandi, hello and welcome everyone. Nagajuini, my name is Lenny Popetal, a representative of the Southern Yamaji people. I am honoured today to be here on our ancestral tribal lands of our Southern Yamaji people, and would like to acknowledge that they make up the First Nation people, who are the traditional custodians of the land which we work and live in. I also recognise their continuing connections to the land, water and community, whose culture are among the oldest living cultures in human history, and recognise their strength, resilience and capacity of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. We pay our respects to our elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions, the cultural and hopes of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. A better understanding and respect for all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures develops and enriches appreciation of Australian culture heritage that we can lead to reconciliation. Reconciliation Week is this week. It's more than a word. Reconciliation takes action, urges to reconciliation moving forward towards a braver and more impactful action. It is a journey that all Australians, as individuals, families, communities, organisations, importantly as a nation, walking together alongside each other. I'd like to welcome our life members, our teams that have come up here today to represent your clubs and the football, soccer. I'd also like to acknowledge that we have our Mayor Shane Benstein and Lara Dalton who are here today to support this event. And I'd like to also acknowledge the hard work that Tanya and her work crew have done to put this together. So Nirabandi, welcome everyone and enjoy today.
Please welcome Geraldton Junior Soccer Association member John Bleach, who will toss the coin. He's a live member.
Hi buddy, how are you? You alright? Doing well?
So as mentioned before, this is the first of two games this afternoon from this venue from the NPL WA competition. Men's Perth Glory and Sorrento, the skippers Gio Colley and Sean Kilkelly just tossing the coin on your screen now. Fremantle City and the NTC and the women's NPL to follow around about 5 p.m. The men get us underway first, though. We should have a good game on our hands here. Two sides in excellent form the week before we officially hit the halfway point of the season. The youngsters at Perth Glory have found their feet in 2021 with a run of 1 defeat in 5 games, and they found their scoring boots as well in that time with 12 goals in their last 3 fixtures. They sit fourth behind today's opponents in the 4 points, behind today's opponents in the standings, and a win today will well and surely put them in the mix for a top 4 berth for the first time since 2018. Sorrento, meanwhile, one of the big improvers this season, despite many suspecting they'd struggle to score goals without last season's second top scorer, Cameron Teese. Instead, they sit fourth and have just lost once in their last 8 league games. They come in today with draws against big hitters Floreat and Perth in the past fortnight, but 3 points for Jamie Harnwell's side today will help create separation and keep pace with the leading trio of Floreat, ECU Joondalup and Perth. So this is one of 6 games today on the NPL WA channels in the men's competitions. Your referee handing the ball over now to Charlie Leach is David Bruce, and he will be assisted by Jess Bird and Simon Hicks. So just about to get set. Always a pleasure to come out to the regions and bring a game which showcases some of the best local footballers we have in the state. Kalgoorlie, Border, Bustleton and Albany have all hosted this game in recent years, but we're back in Geraldton this weekend for the first time since 2017 this afternoon. Round 10 men's NPL WA action on what could be a key game in the top 4 race is off and underway, with both teams playing in their home jerseys this afternoon. The Glory in their predominantly all purple and Sorrento in their traditional sky blue with the navy shorts as well. Glory kicking from the right to the left of your stream in this first half. There's Gio Colley. That's the header down. Charlie Leach got to the ball first, and there was a sliding challenge from Sean Kilkelly, and some of the youngsters weren't happy with that decision, and one of the earliest cards you'll see all season from Sean Kilkelly, who came sliding out from the back around about 30 seconds into this game. It'll give the Glory an opportunity to get themselves on the front foot here in Geraldton. Joe Colley stood over the ball. Only 3 players around the edge of the area thus far. It'll be Colley to play it in. He's looking for Nick Sullivan at the back post, but that'll drift all the way out for a goal kick. Fairly still conditions here in Geraldton, about 4 to 4.5 hours north of Perth. We had a deluge of rain and wind earlier in the day, and I can tell you that the drive was a tricky one at times as well, but we've made it and the conditions have stayed calm for the time being, which is what we want to see. We want to see the best players being able to play as good a football as they possibly can. And as said in the introduction, we've got 2 teams racing for finals football, so we should have a good clash on our hands this afternoon as Brown wins the header and then Aidan Coyne lumps one forward for the run of Kieran Bramwell, but that'll run into touch and Neil Gillies will stand over the throw-in. He'll hand off to Jordan Brown now, who's one to look for a little later. Perhaps if the conditions get a little tricky, he has got a booming long throw on him. That's a pretty good effort to start the day with as Coyne goes forward. Bramwell will try and win the header. May it break for Adam Zimmerino, who was milling around. Instead, it's Sorrento who will try and come away here. Interception by Nick Sullivan, player with A-League experience. Stepping in there, Morgan, and now Bramwell will try and make a yard for himself. Bramwell just slipped as he went to take the shot, and that affected the power and the direction that he got on it. As mentioned before, both these teams in an excellent vein of form at the moment. Glory just the 1 loss in their last 5, wins in their last 2 games against Rockingham and Balcatta. Well, Sorrento have also been in really good nick. 2 draws the last 2 weeks against Perth and Floriat, but they're 2 teams traditionally up there, and their last defeat was all the way back in round 4 against ECU, but they're on the back foot at the moment, although the pass from Leach was a little heavy. Ford's header will go into touch over on that far side. Good to see a decent crowd here at One Feller Oval. Difficult conditions today and rain was forecast, so it's encouraging that the local community have still come out to support the local game. And now we may just have an opportunity to see that long throw of Brown as he stands on the far right and hoists it in. Gillies will try and flick on. It'll come back to Brown, though. He'll step that one in. Header was away from Coyne. Clearance should be completed there by Muir, and eventually it is via Sullivan. Hill goes to ground, and it's actually the Glory man, Kieran Bramwell, who gets the decision there. Bramwell, another of the players that's had A-League minutes so far in 2021. Ex-ECU player, been around the Glory setup for quite some time now. Bramwell scored his maiden A-League goal on March 27 against the Newcastle Jets in a 2-0 win. And there he is again, trying to get the cross into the area. It was charged down by Ryan McLaughlin, though, and they'll give the Glory their first corner of the afternoon. Corner which will be taken by their top scorer, Adam Zimmerino. Off-season signing from Balcatta FC. It's Zimmerino's ball in. Coming for the ball was the goalkeeper, Bramwell, to ground, and there was a pretty heavy collision between both of those players in the area. Bramwell's one of them. I'm not sure who the Sorrento player is in amidst all of that. But both of them were clattered into by Connor Campbell, who came out to try and beat the ball away. David Bruce with no hesitation on the whistle there and making sure play was stopped. Concussion, obviously a very serious topic in all sports, not just football. Player safety obviously coming first before anything else, as both players get a little bit of treatment. Jordan Pockler was the Sorrento player who went to ground. He's back on his feet now, and Bramwell also looks as though he's going to be okay to continue too, which is good news. Both players with eyes on the ball only, and so too Campbell as well, who was trying to clear the danger. Both players will come off for a short moment, possibly. So as touched on, this is one of 6 NPL WA games across the league today. We've got Perth versus ECU, Bayswater versus Gwelup, leaders Florida against Armidale, and then a couple of big games towards the bottom end of the league involving Coburn, who are at home to Inglewood, and a game between 10th and 12th in Balcatta and Rockingham. Our focus will remain here at Wanthella Oval, though, in the race for the top 4 as Campbell gets us restarted again. Here's Alex Morgan. Stepping in was Muir. And now Chris Donnell will come away with the ball. Ford tries to make a yard. Last touch off a Sorrento player there, and Glory will get us resumed again very shortly. Ford, Adam Zimmerino. Ford continued his run on the overlap, but that was a good challenge from Gillies, all ball. And now Witch, Sorrento's top scorer this season. He'll invite the full-back forward into the action, who is Ollie Annis playing at left back today. Crosses a dangerous one, looking for Witch, who didn't quite get all of it, but Sorrento's most promising attack of the afternoon so far, and it was cross provided by Ollie Annis down the left, and arriving after passing the ball out was Scott Witch. Scott Witchy, who had the pleasure of interviewing during the week for the Football West NPL WA preview, playing in a more central role this season, having predominantly been a winger or a right back in his NPL WA years. 5 goals in 8 games so far. Player clearly relishing the challenge of playing up front. As Glory come the other way, Ford finds Bramwell to the left of the area. Kieran Bramwell is stood up and he'll retreat back to Ford. And now Colley tried to pick the pass with Bramwell, and Sorrento were able to clear their lines. Annis. Ball into the channel, looking for the run of Witch, who's onside here. He stood up by Jacob Muir, didn't have much support though, Witchke, and in the end the cross was easily collected by Cameron Cook. Sullivan. Bramwell back to Sullivan. Now Colley, patient from the Glory. Back to Nick Sullivan, who looks up, sees a few in front of him, but not really a crossing position. Now Colley will try and make something happen. Stepping in there with a good challenge was Brown, and now Sorrento will look to counter through Pockler, who will try and release the pace of Witchke once again. body to body with Tatafu. And the last touch was off the central defender, Mason Tatafu, who has been part of the Glory setup for many years. Since his under-14s days back in 2015, part of every matchday squad last season. Debuted against Ulsan Hyundai in the Asian Champions League and made his A-League debut off the bench in round 1 against Adelaide United as well in that 5-3 win back in January to start the A-League season. So another chance to see Brown's throw from the other side of the pitch this time. Gillies was trying to flick on. Should be cleared away, although the clearance wasn't the greatest, although I was just about to say they managed to get away with it, but handball has been conceded by Kieran Bramwell there, and this is a good opportunity for Sorrento to get some bodies forward again and attack a set piece. Something that Sorrento coach Jamie Harnwell's made no secrets about. They practice them a lot. They're a very, very physical team, Sorrento. It is one of their big strengths. Glory have got to be on the money to defend this one here as Annis has stood over it. It'll be an outswinger. It's near post. Morgan will try and flick on. It'll break nearly there for Jordan Roberts, but in the way was a Glory defender, and they should be able to get it clear and at least be able to push their back four up. Kelly's ball forward. That's far too long though, and Cameron Cook will get us restarted again. Two former Perth Glory teammates in the dugouts this afternoon. Chris Coyne in the Glory dugout, the assistant coach of the Perth Glory NPL side, actually leading the team this afternoon with Ruben Zadkovic on A-League duties. Perth Glory's senior team playing away in Wellington tomorrow, of course. Jamie Harnwell, Sorrento head coach, 256 appearances, games record holder. Needs no introduction for football fans across Western Australia and Australia in general. Bramwell turned around the corner, but Leach was offside. Spoke about these teams and their results last week. Both of them were come from behind points accrued. Jordan Roberts, his first goal since returning to Sorrento last week, 90th minute. Percy Doyle reserve against Perth, and Aidan Coyne with a goal which gave the Glory a 3-2 win against Rockingham, where they were 2-0 down and showed great character in tricky conditions. All the goals scored in the first half of that game, so they did show resilience in the second half to come back and then hold on to the 3 points. A pretty even start so far across the board, neither goalkeeper being made to work. What can the Glory get going from this throw-in? Ford will throw into Leach. Last touch off a Sorrento leg, and it'll be a Glora corner, sorry. To the right of his screen. Jumbled the words there slightly. Second corner of the day from the other side. It's Gio Colley who will swing in this time. Glory with 5 players in the area attacking it. Bramwell's one of them! Oh, and he came ever so close opening the scoring there, did Kieran Bramwell. And he may be a little disappointed that he didn't hit the target there. Sorrento survive. A bit of a scare though, they're normally so proficient at both ends of the pitch with their set pieces, but Bramwell got a really easy run at that one. Beautiful ball in from Gio Colley to entice the Glory striker, and now Sorrento will try and counter the other way through Witschke, who's twisting and turning Coyne inside out, and now the goals will have a corner to the left. So end-to-end action there in the past 60 seconds or so. A little over quarter of an hour into this one here at One Fella Oval. Scoreline: Perth Glory 0, Sorrento FC 0. If you've joined us late, Tommy Dolman on the call with you here in Geraldton. One of 6 NPL WA men's games on Saturday afternoon here for Football West. Women's action to follow afterwards as Anna swings this one in. It's looking for Brown, who got his head to it, and Cook was in the right place to deal with that one, and he'll set about putting the youngsters into the counter-attack, although Ford had to just check his run slightly, and that allowed Sorrento to close down. Lovely footwork there from Roberts to get the better of Sullivan. And now Morgan, he's got Brown wide right. Jordan Brown's cross charged in. Second ball is slinged in as well, and Cook is able to gather. Forward by Sullivan. He was challenged late by Annis. Sorrento already had one player go into the referee's notebook this afternoon, of course, when Sean Kilkelly was booked inside 30 seconds, but it looks as though Annis will avoid the referee's wrath here. Very experienced official in David Bruce. So it'll be Mason Tatafu who gets us restarted. It's looking for the feed of Zimmerino. Colley. And now Adam Zimmerino will want to get onto that left foot. Bramwell and sliding in there. Gillies' advantage was played, and then Leach took the shot on. And that was enough of an advantage in David Bruce's eyes. And although Bramwell was probably fouled, the advantage was taken by Leach, and Campbell was able to make the save from a pretty tame effort in the end. Colley. Gillies, and now Brown. It's the feet of Witchke. Colley again. Ball forward from Charlie Leach to Bramwell. Zimmerino had to check his run. He may yet get there still. Campbell had to be alert and off his line to hoist that one long and upfield. And decision will go Sorrento's way over on the far side of the pitch. See another long throw from Jordan Brown. Real stalwart off Sorrento, player who's been with the club for many years. His ball comes in, it's flicked on by Morgan. Last touch was adjudged to have been off Morgan, and Cameron Cook will get us restarted again. Cook has started the majority of Glory's NPL games this season, just the one clean sheet in a 3-0 win against Balcatta. Former Adelaide United youth team goalkeeper. Glory do like to play out from the back, but they've got themselves in a little bit of a tangle and turn possession over to Sorrento. Forward by Gillies. Morgan will try and flick on. Coyne's touch looked a little heavy, but he was able to get away with it. Olianis. Hill has to go all the way back to Campbell. Glory's pressing there, forcing the turnover, and now Colley's ball will be rolled into Bramwell. McLaughlin got the foot to it. He couldn't keep it alive, though. And if he did keep it alive, it was put out for a throw in any case. Throw to be taken by Nick Sullivan, ex-Western Sydney Wanderer, a youth team player. Also with Club Brugge and Vitória of Portugal as a youngster. 15 A-League appearances for Western Sydney Wanderers Nick Sullivan before moving over to the West. Unfortunately, his throw didn't amount to anything for glory, and Campbell will get us off and running again. Pockler. Turnover. Bramwell. Colley. Muir. Colley, and then Sullivan. Good football from Glory playing out from the back. He'll give Zimmerino something to chase. Leach too. Donald's header. Leach was coming back from an offside position. And now Aidan Coyne, who scored that winner down in Rockingham last week. Colley, and now Sullivan. Nick Sullivan trying to make something happen from full-back. He's ran himself into a corner. He'll try and win the corner, but he'll have to make do with a throw. Hill's ball forward will roll out for a throw-in. So we hit the midway point of the first half. First half that's seen no goals so far, plenty of enterprise. Just the one real clear-cut chance, Kieran Bramwell's header from Gio Colley's corner. From 6 yards, a big moment. That one possibly. Muir's ball, Donald, Ford, and now Adam Zimmerino. Little slide pass is a good one for Ford, who continued his run forward. It's Joe Ford who's cutting inside, still going forward, and now he'll strike at goal, and he just leant back a little bit as he took the shot on, and that meant the ball went over the bar. Good intent though, nevertheless, from the full-back, who's been busy down that left-hand side so far, likes to cut in on that right foot. Player who's been with the Glory since 2018, Joe Ford. Broke into the senior side last season, and now the head just flicked on here for Witschke, who's just corralled enough by Muir to prevent any further attacks from developing, and now Kilkelly's going to have to header this one back to Campbell, and he does. So this is the 5th regional game for Football West that has been taken out to the country areas. All of them played between the Glory and Sorrento. Both teams have held the Regional Cup twice each in the games before. Second time that we have been to Geraldton after the first game in 2017. Sorrento with a 2-0 win that afternoon, thanks to goals from Reese Vertiglia and Sean Canham. And then we've had a few blowouts over the years. Glory with a 6-1 win in Kalgoorlie Border in 2018. A 5-2 win for the Glory then in Bustleton. Likes of Gabriel Popovic and Daniel Steins, who've since played in the A-League, were in the team that day. And then last season down in Albany, Sorrento had a 5-2 win. 2 goals from Cameron Teese, who left the club in the off-season and has since moved to the NPL in Victoria. So who will get on the right side of the ledger and take the regional cup this afternoon? Currently 0-0 at the moment. Roberts will try and hoist the cross over his shoulder. Colley's headed down, and now Pockler. McLaughlin passes a little wide of Annis, and Glory will get a throw. Great to see Ollie Annis back out on the pitch this afternoon, making his first NPL WA appearance of the season. Player who suffered an injury last season, which ruled him out for the end of last season and the start of this up until now. Was having his best goal-scoring season last year up until the injury, which was a shame, but good to see him sitting in that left-back position this afternoon and on the pitch, and he may get on the end of this one here. He opted to stay on the edge of the area because Brown's cross was a little wide of the mark, and Cook will go and retrieve. McLaughlin. Roberts. Pass was left for Annis. And now forward by Kilkelly. Give Witschke something to chase, but he's offside. Beautiful backdrop here in the Midwest, here in Geraldton. Game which looked like it was going to be affected pretty significantly by the conditions earlier this morning, as we touched on in the introduction, but thankfully the weather has stayed away for the time being. It's good to see a good crowd here in Geraldton come down and support local football from the local community. Football West team have also been out and getting to some of the local clubs around the region, which is good to see that interaction. Hopefully producing the next players that will either play in the NPL or, better yet, the A-League and beyond. Sullivan's pass is charged down by Annis. Leach couldn't keep that one in play, and Sorrento will win the throw. Forward by Annis. Bramwell perhaps a little bit late there. Nothing too malicious though, and just be the free kick just in front of halfway. So Sorrento with 7 forward, I think, including Annis, who's just made the run short side. The flick on, I think the last touch may have been off Bramwell, but Ford will keep it in play anyway. Forward by Kilkelly. Brown with the header. It'll run through to Cook. Apologies. Getting my Campbells and my Cooks mixed up. So half an hour in, Perth Glory 0, Sorrento FC 0. Football West YouTube channel, Facebook pages this afternoon. Here in the Midwest, Tommy Dolman with you on the call. Women's NPL action to follow around about 5 p.m. here at this venue. As the sun comes out, after what's been a pretty dreary past couple of days overall. Sullivan. Leach, Kilkelly, stepping in. Donald with a good 50-50 win on Morgan, and now Glory will try and get something moving. Charlie Leach will skip in. Great save, and Bramwell will curl, and Campbell got back on his feet to make the save. Lovely piece of footwork there from Charlie Leach, who skipped through a challenge. There may have even been a little nutmeg on the edge of the area. And in the end, it was a good save from Campbell, who was off his line quickly, made himself as big as possible. And then back up on his feet quickly to reclaim the follow-up as Sorrento charged down the other end, and Roberts' cross is charged down by Muir. In fact, it was Donald who was tracking back from midfield. And it'll be another opportunity for Sorrento to hoist one long again. Gillies comes forward. So too Ryan McLaughlin. It'll be Brown's ball in. At the near post was Morgan. Bramwell eventually slapped it clear, and then Kilkelly will sling it forward once more. It's into the body of Morgan. It's volleyed there by McLaughlin, I think it was, who stayed forward, and in the end, he wasn't able to keep it down. Once again, though, those half chances created from those set-piece opportunities, keeping the goals dangerous. Gillies away, Donald stepping in. Foul paid against Sean Kilkelly there, I think it was. David Bruce just calming things down a little bit. I don't think Chris Donald was happy with the challenge. Kilkelly's already gone into the book. Let's not forget. So Gio Colley standing over this one. Ball clipped into the area. McLaughlin will head up in the air. Pockler should complete the clearance, but only as far as Colley, who shouts for handball again. Now Ford, clipped into Leach, who swiveled and his shot was blocked, and then Annis will eventually clear. Now can Roberts keep this one in play? He does, and he's only got two players ahead of him in support at the moment, and that was good defending from Donald to get in the way of that one. Forward by Colley, that'll give Bramwell something to chase. Kilkelly in position A to deal with that one. Yet to see a goal in this one so far, which is pretty uncharacteristic with regional matches of the last few years. As said before, we've seen a 6-1, a 5-1 and a 5-2. In fact, overall, 52 goals in the last 13 meetings between these sides, averaging 4 a game, of course. 18 in those last 3 games we spoke about before. You might see another one here as Tatafu's clearance was charged down by Roberts. Will look up, and then Annis's ball is in. It's looping, and I'm not sure Cook was aware of where that was going, but in the end he was able to backpedal and watch it over. A couple of nervous moments there for the Glory at the back. A couple of people in the crowd behind me perhaps thought that that one was going to nestle in the back of the net. Morgan, Pockler, McLaughlin missed the challenge, and now Zimmerino will thread one through the Bramwell, who's in on goal just about. He tried to make half a yard, and in the end he blazed it over the bar. Disappointing finish there from a player who's very capable of hitting the back of the net. Scored 52 goals in 69 games at under 18s level over 3 seasons between 2017 and 2019. And just the one NPL WA appearance before today, having spent a lot of time with the senior team. And he's been the source of the closest moments within the game so far. Annis. Roberts, little 1-2 with Annis, who continued his run. Cross into the middle. Arriving was Morgan. Sliding in was Colley. No foul, says David Bruce. And that was possibly the correct decision there. Morgan may have just walked into that one a little bit. Brown's throw. Gillies will flick on. Cook will come and claim. Forward by Sullivan. Last touch there off Zimmerino. Connor Campbell placing the ball down. Goalkeeper who's having his second spell at the club. Most recently, Guellup's #1 for the past few seasons, where he had a really good first phase of the comp last year in particular. Floreat and Sterling among his former clubs as well, and in place of Joel Driscoll, who's unfortunately out with a long-term injury. We wish him the best in his recovery. He's having a very good season until that injury. Hill, Brown. Sorrento stay on the front foot. Jordan Brown will bounce the ball, and in she goes again. Morgan tried to flick on. Brown will try and get back on this one. Here's Alex Morgan. Pockler out wide. Flag went up for offside. It wasn't the player who was offside who touched the ball in the end, and eventually the cross came in, and Muir had to, in fact it was Coyne, apologies, who put that one behind for a corner. I think it was Scott Witchke who was in an offside position, but he didn't touch the ball in the end, and play was allowed to continue, and it's led to a Sorrento corner. Roberts will put it into the back post. Brown try to keep it alive. Colley will complete the clearance, and now Zimmerino's going to get there first. He's only got Leach ahead of him, so he's going to have to try and make something happen on his own, and he can win a throw for his team inside the final 5 minutes of this first half. Perth Glory FC 0, Sorrento FC 0. One Feller Oval Regional Cup action here on the Football West YouTube channel and Facebook pages. It's Tafu. Last touch there off McLaughlin. Bramwell here takes the throw, gets it back. Still going here, Kieran Bramwell. Nice link-up play. Shot is curled wide of Campbell's post. Goalkeeper always had that one covered, I feel. Muir. Donnell. Try to make a yard to get away from his opponent, which he can't run onto the ball. Hill steps in and wins the ball. Tim Hill will clip forward, looking for the run of Roberts, who should be able to keep it in play. No, he doesn't. Jess Bird's flag is up over on that far side. Cook forward, Kilkelly's header. Morgan and Ford go up for the battle. Charlie Leach looks as though he's pulled up behind the play. Witschke will give chase. Cook has to come off his line and clear. Still limping a bit, Charlie Leach. We'll keep an eye on him. Glory number 9. Looks as though he's moving okay now. Pockler, player who spent last season at Fremantle City, Jordan Pockler. Part of City's top 4 cup final run in State League Division 1 last season. Having been at Olympic Kingsway the 2 seasons prior, but has had senior NPL experience with Bayswater City previously in 2018. Donnell. Zimmerino, and now Donnell again. Colley invites Tatatu, who's come forward. Bramwell slipped and it nearly landed at the feet of Zimmerino. Sullivan battling for the ball with Roberts, and then Roberts went to ground. Fourth officials board goes up here. To mark the end of 45 minutes, we'll have an additional 2 to complete the first half. ball forward there, nearly broke to Witchke. Coyne was able to get it away. And now Charlie Leach will fire that one forward, looking for Zimmerino, who just slipped slightly as he was trying to get on the end of that. Are we going to have one more chance before halftime whistle is blown? Brown's cross into the area is well gathered by Cook. It's just been that final cross from Sorrento in this first half, which hasn't quite hit the mark. Tafu's header, Pockler, forward by Hill. Stepping in Morgan to get the better of Sullivan, and then Sullivan goes back and wins the ball cleanly. Witchke. Last touch off the Sorrento player, much to his surprise. Zimmerino. Good challenge there by Pockler, and then Colley will lift over the top. Donnell will get the ball before Hill. And now Ford. Glory have got a couple of players here on this far side if they can manoeuvre the ball. One of them, Zimmerino, flicked on by Bramwell. And then sliding into Tafu, who won the ball cleanly there. Witchke may have been caught with the secondary leg there, but the initial challenge from Tafu looked clean from where I was sitting. Witchke still down in pain here after that awkward landing. Witchke back on his feet. He'll come off the pitch, but if he needs treatment, he's not going to have to wait long, because we're in the final few seconds of this first half. Forward from McLaughlin, and that is the last action of this first 45 minutes here at One Thella Oval. Goalless at the break. Glory have had the better chances, though, in this first half. Kieran Bramwell's been at the heart of them. He put a header wide from 6 yards early on, and then Charlie Leach forced Connor Campbell into a brilliant save. Bramwell with a follow-up. He's been the architect of a lot of Glory's good moments. And at the other end, Sorrento's most dangerous times have come when they've utilised Jordan Brown's long throw and their set pieces, which are normally a strength. But at the break, it's all square here in the regional game for Football West at Geraldton. We'll be back with the second half shortly. Sorrento's second player into the book this afternoon after Sean Kilkelly's entry in the first 30 seconds of the first half. Colley goes short for Muir. And now Aidan Coyne. Donnell. Glory's vice-captain. Turned over, and now Sorrento will try and get the switch going here. Wide for Jordan Brown, who won't be able to keep that one in play. Still trying to settle into a bit of a pattern at the start of this second half. Long ball forward there from Muir is too straight and easily claimed by Campbell. Zimmerino, Colley, spread wider still for Sullivan, who's got a little bit of room to move in. He'll look back inside for Colley. Pass looks a little short. It may work out okay, although now it's cleared and Pockler will run onto it. He's got Roberts ahead of him and Witschke a little further ahead of him, but Glory were always in the best position to deal with that one, and they should come away here from Sullivan, although he runs into trouble in the form of Roberts. First 5 minutes of this second period, a little scrappy in truth. Kilkelly's mishit clearance. Might still work out okay for Sorrento here. It will as Pockler finds Alex Morgan. He's got Jordan Brown out wide. Brown back inside for Pockler. Tries to get the 1-2 going. Cutting across there was Donnell, I think, who was tracking back from midfield. He was. Seen him in both boxes so far, Chris Donnell. Excellent work rate throughout the day. Does give Sorrento a throw, though, that clearance into touch, and one which Brown will once again try to utilise. Thought about the short to Witschke. And now there's a little bit of activity in the penalty area, which David Bruce is just monitoring. Now Brown will throw in. It's near to the near post. The flick on nearly came in. Hill will drive, and it was an awkward one for Tim Hill to try and get on over. Apologies, and in the end he wasn't able to control the effort. Had a couple of siders at the start of this second half, Tim Hill. Player who's been with Sorrento since 2016, 6 years at Stirling before that. Last goal was in round 8, 2019, in a 3-1 defeat to Floriat, so not a known goal scorer by any stretch. Here he is now. Nice little turn away from Zimmerino, and then a nice pass for Brown. Cross to the back post is a good one for Annis. We'll try and carve out the cross here. He does. It's deep again. Witschke was arriving. It may yet break to him still. Still there for Witschke, and then the cross was off. Forward and behind for a corner. Ball bobbling around everywhere at that near post. So in comes the corner from Annis. Into the near post, and disappointing delivery in the end from the former ECU midfielder who's playing at left back today. Sorrento starting this second half with good intent. Been the better side in this first 7 minutes or so. Cameron Cook still without a great deal to do, though, in truth. Leach spinning away from Kilkelly. Ball forward here, looking for Bramwell, who spins and then retreats back to Sullivan. Forward by Kilkelly. Witchke can't get on the end of it. Back come the Glory, who are just trying to settle themselves on the ball a little bit. After Sorrento's good start to the half, Pockler with a no-nonsense piece of defending. It might not work out too badly in the end, though, as Witchke chases after it, but Wynn just grabs that a little bit, and out it goes for a throw. Breezes just picks up a little bit at the start of this second half. Without wanting to put the mockers on it, the rain has stayed away. It was forecasted pretty heavily. Hopefully we can get through this game and the NPL WA Women's Clash afterwards without anything too heavy. Fremantle City and the NTC and the women's competition to follow right after this one. Another game with top 4 permutations. Third versus fifth in that game. Fourth versus fifth here. And still goalless. Sorrento with a 4-point lead over the Glory coming into today's game. So they will be in the top 4 whatever happens this afternoon. It's just whether they are going to be able to extend that margin or whether Glory are going to be able to close it. Here come the goals now as Alex Morgan reverses for Annis. His ball is aimed in at Brown, who got his head to it. Keeper didn't want to come, and in the end it was scrambled away. Only as far as Gillies. Hill turning around the corner, Witchke, and stepping in with a good piece of defending was Tatafu, who now looks to get Glory on the break. It was a cynical foul from Pockler, and then Bramwell, who went sliding into McLaughlin, I think, completely accidentally when he went to ground. And I think Pockler has become the third Sorrento player to go into David Bruce's notebook. Joining Sean Kilkelly and Tim Hill. Sullivan, driving run from the fullback, wanted a free kick and didn't get it. And now Roberts will try and spin away from Jacob Muir. And the referee spotted a little bit of tugging, a little bit of bustling, and free kick was paid. Both sets of substitutes are warming up. Off picture. Billy Quincroft and Joe Tweets for Sorrento, Bryce Bafford and Josh Anasmo for the Glory, as Hill throws this one forward, arriving at the back post. That was Witchke, and it was across the 6-yard box dangerously. I'm not sure who got the clearance in, but it was an important one, and then the cross comes back in, and Cook was able to gather with a good authoritative piece of goalkeeping, and the distribution wasn't bad either to release Adam Zimmerino, who ran into the brick wall of Kilkelly. Donnell spinning away, all on his own down this left-hand side. Gilly stepped in and thought that he won the ball, but free kick given instead. Now we will see a double change from the Glory. Perhaps Chris Coyne just sensing that Sorrento were getting on top at the start of this second half, and we're going to see Bryce Bafford and Josh Anasmo come onto the pitch. Player on will be Bafford for Leach, so Bafford will most likely go in that centre forward position. Scored in his last 2 games against Rockingham and Balcatta, having had a breakthrough season last year of 9-16 at NPL level. And the other change is Anasmo for Bramwell, so 2 like-for-like moves. Anasmo, the top scorer in the division, with 7 this season, albeit 5 of them came in 3 games at Floriat to start the season. Both of them are in the area to attack this Collie set piece. It's at the back post for Nasmo, and what an introduction that would have been from the centre forward. Glory's number 12, a big presence up front, and nearly made his presence felt immediately. Go back to Nasmo. He started the season at Floria and did catch the eye, particularly in the game against Glory, clearly, where he scored a hat-trick in a big win for Floria over at Glory's home ground this season in Forestfield. And that was clearly enough for the Glory to go out and sign the striker. He's only scored twice since joining the club from round 4. Still leading the Golden Boot race, one clear of John Steins, who plays for Gwelup, Croatia. Late challenge was on Ford there from one of Brown or Pockler there. Not sure who it was that committed the foul, but it's led to a little bit of argy-bargy. Nothing too sinister from either team. Just quickly on Bathurst, he's a former Brisbane Roar Youth League winning player from the 2018-19 season. Made his NPL debut against Stirling in 2019 and scored in that game as well. I remember doing that one for Football West and had a great season with 9 goals in 16 from midfield last year. And also went on to make his Asian Champions League a debut and senior debut for the Glory, apologies, against Shanghai Shenhua in the most recent season of the Asian Continental competition. Now, whilst I was talking about Bafford, Brown went into the book, and now Witchke will try and make something happen for the goals. It's off Muir behind for a corner. In comes another Oleanis corner. Last one was a little disappointing. Can he get this one on the money? In it comes. Header away was from Donnell, I think, who was in the 6-yard area. Pockler and Zimmerino dueling for the ball, and it was Sorrento player who won the day. Colley's ball invites Sullivan forward. He's got 3 ahead of him. Still going, though, is Nick Sullivan stepping in with Gillies with an important challenge. If it had gotten through that, he had Zimmerino to his left and would have most likely led to a shot on goal. Just over an hour in, Perth Glory 0, Sorrento FC 0, live on the Football West YouTube channel, Facebook pages. This afternoon from Geraldton, as Jordan Brown hoists one in long, gets headed away by Muir. Clearance is partially completed by Sullivan, but it'll be coming straight back from Brown. Sun has come out, which is great to see. Some blue skies ahead of us in your picture, and it'll be Brown to sling this one in. It's aimed in at Gillies. It nearly broke for McLaughlin. Instead, it was Ford who cleared. Hills crosses in. It's looking for Alex Morgan at the back post. It was only headed as far as Annis. And still the rear guards of both teams are holding up. It was Very much glory in the first half. Sorrento pushing in the second period, and they'll get a little bit of relief here in the form of a free kick for a foul on Gio Colli. Gio Colli, of course, is the reigning gold medal winner at NPL level, the player of the season in the NPL WA in 2020. Tied for that award with Floriat skipper Dean Evans. And he also won the Young Player of the Year award as well, as Anasmo pickpockets his opponent on that far side. Passes in here. Cross came in from Baffert, I think it was, and it was dug out by Kilkelly and put behind for a corner. Just signs of that front three linking up in Anasmo, Zimmerino and Baffert, which have sprung into life in recent weeks. Baffert is looking for the short there. Zimmerino puts two hands in the air instead and puts it in, aiming for Anasmo. It may run for Sullivan, who chips it in. Looking for Colli, who got a boot in. It's still there for Zimmerino, who pulls back. And now Sullivan will try and use a trick. Still there for the glory, and then headed over from Adam Zimmerino. In fact, it was off a Sorrento body last, and the pressure will continue. That was Glory's best spell of the half, though. So many Sorrento bodies in the way there as Sullivan and Zimmerino all tried to dig something out. They've held firm for the time being. Colli's ball in. It's a deep one again. It's aimed in at Sullivan, and that one may just run all the way out for a goal kick, and it does. We're going to see Billy Quincroft introduced very shortly. Sorrento's number 9, second spell with the club. Zimmerino, last touch there off Gillies. He's had a good game at the back today, and now that change will be made. It'll be Jordan Roberts who departs. And here comes Quincroft, who's, as we said, second spell was here in 2017 prior to joining Armidale, where he was the captain of the State Cup winning team in 2018. Bobbed up with an important goal so far as Anasmo wins the header and finds the back of the net. A goal out of nothing for the Glory, but the league's leading scorer is on the mark and he celebrates in style. Glory 1, Sorrento 0. Well, it's not bad when he can bring the division's leading scorer off the bench, and he's made an impact. All right, he's given the Glory the lead here. Midway through this second half. Goal number 8 of the season for Anasmo, and he's looking for another one here, and Campbell has to come off his line and clear. Now Quincroft will try and get involved for the first time. Really was a goal out of nothing. Kilkelly's clearance went straight up in the air, and Anasmo wanted it more than anybody. Fans here in Geraldton loved the acrobatic celebration from Josh and Asmo. And he'll be looking to get in and around this next glory attack as Donald releases Bafford and he pulls back, looking for Zimmerino. Stepping in with a good challenge was Brown. And now there is work to do for Sorrento here if they are to preserve their 4-point advantage ahead of Glory in the top 4. Muir, Coyne. Glory on top at the moment. They're sensing a little bit more. Zimmerino goes to ground, doesn't get the free kick. Ball forward into the feet of Witchke, who's looking to wriggle away from Tatafu. Can't do so, and then Tatafu's ball was charged down in the path of Bafford. Tatafu gets it back. He'll strike at goal, and it's a fairly tame effort that was claimed by Campbell, albeit not without a little bit of pressure from Joshua and Asmo. Morgan back for Kilkelly. Pockler, Witchke, nice little 1-2 with Pockler, who goes to ground and wins the set piece. Been in the wars a lot this afternoon, Pockler. So 20 minutes to play. Perth Glory 1, Sorrento 0. Joshua and Asmo's goal, the difference, is 8th of the NPL WA season. Annis's ball in, it's deep, looking for Witchke. Flag is up. Sorrento maybe went a little bit early from that set piece, and Glory will be relieved to see that flag waved by Simon Hicks. So he scored a hat-trick for Floreat against the Glory earlier in the season, and now he's scoring for the Glory again. His third since joining the club. Here he is again, trying to get the better of McLaughlin. It'll be a Glory ball over on that far side. And here comes the rain. Well, we did say it was forecast, but after a little bit of sunshine, it's all come down in one. Some big grey clouds to the right of your stream. Bafford. Back to Sullivan. Now Gio Colley. He'll look up. He'll reverse nicely for Zimmerino, who tries to wriggle away from Gillies. Zimmerino back for Ford. And now Donald, who'll get the better of Morgan. Adam Zimmerino stayed on side. Played a 1-2 with Colley. Zimmerino's ball off the bar from Bafford. Colley follows up. And diving in again was Campbell. Goodness me, an almighty scramble. And now Donald! Deflected and over. Incredible action. Sorrento holding on for dear life. I think it was Bafford with the initial effort off the bar, and then Colley's follow-up was saved by Connor Campbell. And then Donald's shot took a deflection and went over. The pressure continues. Zimmerino's ball in, flicked on by Colley. Last touch off a Sorrento body, and Glory will get the set piece again, I think. Well, I thought the corner was signalled initially, and instead it will be a goal kick. Clearance was a little scrappy from Campbell. It landed straight at the feet of Bafford, who looks ahead and finds Zimmerino. Bafford continued his run. Bryce Bafford arriving was Colley, and it was a little bit behind the skipper, but still it's alive for Sullivan, whose ball back in is aimed in. Clearance is only as far as Ford, who skips inside. It's Joe Ford, and now Adam Zimmerino, and it was straight down the throat of Campbell, who was grateful to make the save. Well, Sorrento started the second half superbly, and then since the introduction of Anasmo and Bafford, Glory have really taken control. Alex Morgan. Pockler's cross, it's aimed in at Witchke. It'll land instead at the feet of Annis. Tries to play the 1-2 with Witch. Annis continued his run, went to ground. No foul, play continues. Game really opening up here, and then Bafford thought he was away but was pulled back by the whistle. Got Joe Tweets and Tristan Stevens perhaps looking like they're about to be introduced. Witchke's come to this left-hand side. He will put the cross in, and it's charged down, and behind it goes for a corner. Yet to really see a delivery that's been on the money from Sorrento this afternoon. Can they find one here? Inside the final 15 minutes at One Thela Oval. Rain still coming down, a little bit lighter than it was a moment ago. It's Hill's ball in. It may back from McLaughlin, and it was... He put a leg end, it went goalwards, but in the end it was able to drift wide of the post. We saw a double change from Chris Coyne, which worked about 15 minutes or so ago, and now Sorrento will make a double change of their own here to try and rescue a result out of the game. It'll be Jordan Pockler and Alex Morgan who depart, and on in their place are Joe Tweets and Tristan Stevens. Tweets, who was at State League Division 1 club Quins last season, earning another chance after being part of Floriet's youth team a few years ago, and Stevens very much a player who's come through the system here at Sorrento. Stevens actually scored the winning goal in the most recent cup round for Sorrento FC, a 1-0 win over Caramar Shamrock Rovers. An early goal there from the youngster. And that was enough to send them through to the final 8. Sorrento got a game with Armidale to look forward in the final 8 of the local phase of the competition. Other games to look forward to there are Bayswater ECU Joondalup, Coburn City versus Perth, and Floriet Athena versus Division 2 Quins. Remember, both finalists of the State Cup will participate in the FFA Cup's round of 32 stage. Stage which Sorrento have been to before. And they became the first NPL WA side to win at the FFA Cup round of 32 stage with a 1-0 win over Canberra United back in 2017. Also lost 2-0 against Sydney FC back in 2015. Cup football's all to come, though. They've still got to find an equaliser in this one. They trail the Glory by a goal to nil, scored by Joshua Anasmo, his 8th of the season. Scotty Witschke will try and launch the response. The ball went under the boot of Joe Tweets, who's in a race with Nick Sullivan to get there. Tim Hill pokes forward for Witschke, who's now come to this right-hand side. Cross is aimed in towards Tweets, who just lost that one in the air a little bit, and off the number 12 it goes and into touch. Sullivan's throw, Nasmo's flick. Tweets. Inside for Anis, who can't get the better of Muir, who's been rock solid at the back today, and he tries to maraud forward, although he runs into trouble. And now Witschke will drive, and he had a couple of players ahead of him, but Sorrento's top scorer took it upon himself to try and test Cook, and he couldn't do so. It's just fallen down in the wrong parts of the pitch today for Sorrento. Goals have scored in every game so far this season, except for the 3-0 loss to ECU Joondalup, which is actually their only defeat of the campaign so far. So all is not completely lost yet as far as they're concerned, but they've only got about 10 minutes or so left to do it. Sullivan a little slow back to his feet there, and just happy to take a couple of seconds out of the game. Long it goes, aimed at Anasmo. He goes there to try and get the better of Tweets. Quincroft stepping in there was Coyne. In fact, it was Muir, apologies, with a good challenge. Tweets tries to spin away from Sullivan. Sullivan able to shield that one out. Witschke chested that one into the path of Tweets, but Witschke was coming back from an offside position. Tafu's ball forward, McLaughlin's header. Out for a throw. Second spell with the club for Ryan McLaughlin. 8 appearances this season, made 12 last year. Had a spell in the US college system with Old Dominion University in Virginia. He may be called into action again as Sullivan prepares to launch a long throw. And Asmo flicks on. Bafford tries to win the spoils. It'll break for Collie instead. Lovely back heel to find Bafford, who's going to try and weave a yard on this right-hand side. And his cross is charged down and behind for a corner. Sun has poked its head back out again. As Zimmerino puts two hands up and hoists that one high and deep into the area. Over everybody though and out for a goal kick. Bafford. Still going, Bryce Bafford. He tried to poke through for an Asmo, but on the last line of defence there was Kilkelly. Dangerous pass across. It's invited Joe Ford forward. Ford. And now Sullivan, who goes to ground. David Bruce says, get up. Glory stay on the front foot, though. Donnell. Wide for Sullivan, who's back to his feet. Sullivan stood up by Joe Tweets. Poke through, was looking for Bafford, but now Sorrento can get a chance to counter-attack forward. It's Witschke who's going to lead it. He comes inside. Brown's making the run forward. If they can get it all the way out to him, it instead only lands at the feet of Hill, and an Asmo can turn over, and he links up with Adam Zimmerino, and now Josh and Asmo has continued his run. He's into the area. It's Joshua and Asmo, and it was just poked away, I think, there by Kilkelly, who was on the last line of defence. Oh, he had Zimmerino and Bafford for support. Opted to use neither, and that may just keep Sorrento in the game. 5 minutes to play here at One Thella Oval. It's a glory by a goal to nil. Football West YouTube channel, Facebook page this afternoon. Tommy Dolman with you on the call. Women's NPL action to follow after this game between Fremantle City and the NTC. Still a little bit to take care of here, though. As it stands, Glory are going to move to within a point of Sorrento. And they'll stay fifth. And they'll put themselves right back into top four contention. Having, of course, made it back in 2018 when they got all the way to a grand final. A real near miss for the youngsters that season. They probably should have won the league that season, but couldn't get a result in the final couple of games when it mattered, and that allowed Perth Soccer Club to sneak in, and then Perth Soccer Club beat them by 4-1 in the grand final that afternoon too. Back on that Glory team from 2018, the likes of Christian and Gabriel Popovich, Michael Domfey leading the line at Perth, Ethan Brooks, Luke Bodnar, Daniel Steins and Josh Rawlins as well, who have both played at senior level. We're all a part of that team, so it looks as though the production line has still continued to yield plenty of good players. A few of the boys in this team as well have had their chance at senior level, and they'll be hoping that more of that's to come in the future. We'll also hope to see this one out, though. Inside the final 3 minutes, they lead by a 1-0. Brown will try and get some distance on this throw. gains a few yards, and we'll get another chance to toss one in. Yet to yield a notable chance, though, this throw from Brown. Can it do so in the final couple of minutes? It's in and aimed towards Gillies. It may yet come back to Brown. Instead, it drops to the feet of Collier. Now Glory will try and counter, but the pass was a little too far in front of Bafford. Quincroft's flick. Witchke and Muir battling for the ball. It's with the Sorrento player at the moment, and he just loses control of it, and Glory will try and settle things down with a throw. Back for Tatafu, and Witchke was putting the pressure on. They'll get another crack from a similar position. In fact, it looked as though the ball went out of play, and Cameron Cook will amble over in not too much of a hurry. Glory on the cusp of a third straight win here in Geraldton. And their first win in the regional game in Geraldton as well, of course. Apologies, after Sorrento won the first game 2-0 in 2017. Third win in the NPL WA was where I was getting at before that, as Bafford flicks on. Possession will be back into the arms of Sorrento. Glory have managed to keep control of this one pretty well in the final 10 to 15 minutes. They've not really given Sorrento an opportunity. And we're going to have 5 additional minutes for Sorrento to try and pull an equaliser out here. A little bit more defending for the youngsters to do. It's headed forward by Colley. Free kick goes the way of Sorrento. And they're going to be in a bit of a hurry to try and get things moving, I suspect. Chris Coyne telling Joshua Nasmo to get back. He's going to need that height to help defend. It's hoisted forward at Kilkelly. Ball is hooked away by Muir. And now Bafford's got room to turn and spin, and he's only got Adam Zimmerino ahead of him for the moment. Now Nasmo joins to help him. It's slid into the feet of Zimmerino, who's approaching the area. Adam Zimmerino to wrap it up, and Campbell saves, and Gillies clears away, and the challenge came in from Collie, I think it was, late on the Sorrento defender, and the goals survive again. And now Perth Glory will try and eat up a few seconds and bring on a little bit of extra defensive reinforcement. Andrew Maranta comes on for Adam Zimmerino for these stoppage time minutes. A rub of the head and a tap on the chest from Chris Coyne. Tim Hill's ball forward, aimed in at Witchke, who may get there first. He does. Battling for possession with Sullivan. Clearance is upfield for Bafford, who spins away. And now Bafford has got a Nasmo down this left-hand side, and Maranta as well, who stayed forward. In fact, it's Painter Andrews who's come on, and Nasmo went a little bit early, though, and unfortunately, Jess Bird's flag went up for the Glory. Tim Hill's ball forward. Kept in by Tweets, whose cross is aimed in towards Gillies, who jumps and gets ahead on it. Shouts for handball off the shoulder, says Bruce. And now Joe Ford will come away with the ball, and it's into the space for Bafford to run into over on that far side, and doesn't look as though he's too interested with driving this one forward. Keeping the ball, the desired result for the Glory, and they're going to do so with a throw on that far side. Pretty much where they'd want to be at the moment. Throw in here, Colley's going to get there. Ball is pulled back for Painter Andrews. It may yet come back to him, and he's still herring after this one, the forward, but he'll run out of play, and Campbell will hurry and try and punt this one long upfield. In fact, he's gone short for Tim Hill. Jamie Harnwell urging his players forward here. Quincroft will flick on, looking for Witchke. Ford is there. He's got to hurry and deal with this, and he did just enough with Annis and Witchke lurking around him. Forward from Kilkelly. It's aimed in towards Quincroft. It's headed away by Tatafu. And now Sullivan drives forward, and Campbell should come off his line and deal with this. He does. Tim Hill keeps it in. He puts it in. Forward looking for McLaughlin, who's very much playing up front with Gillies now. Tweets will drive one. In fact, it was a bit of a cross shot from the youngster, and in the end it was over everyone's heads, and Cameron Cook will be very happy with that result. Nearly there for Chris Coyne. That may have been the last chance for Sorrento. We're just about to tick into the 6th minute of added time. And now Cameron Cook will go into the referee's notebook for a little bit of time wasting. Forward from the goalkeeper. Header inside there. It may yet break to the feet of Bafford. Gillies goes to ground. Wins the free kick from the challenge by Bafford. Got to go now for the goals. Seconds ticking down. We've played the 5 minutes of added time. Campbell slips as he goes to take this one. Donnell gets his head on it. Hooked over his shoulder by an Asmo. It'll break back to the striker, sliding in with a strong challenge with Stevens, and that'll give Brown something to chase. It's cleared behind for a corner for Sorrento, and now it's all hands to the pump. Connor Campbell's going to come forward for this one. This has got to be it for Sorrento. It's going to be Ollie Annis to take the delivery. Everyone forward by Joe Tweets on the edge of the area. It's Annis's ball, and it's slung in. It may fall. An almighty scramble forms. Where's this going to land? Hill! Charge down, and that'll do it. The Glory survive. They take 3 massive points up here in Geraldton, which edge them closer to the top 4. A 3rd straight win for the youngsters. Balcatta, Rockingham City, and now Sorrento in Geraldton. They were the better team in the first half. They created the better of the chances. Sorrento came back into the game at the start of the second half, and then the introduction of Bryce Bafford and Joshua Nasmo was vital, because the latter in Nasmo would come on. He would head in his 8th goal of the season, and he's the division's leading scorer in the NPL WA this season, and that